Greetings, I'm Dr. Max Gomez at the Fifth International Vatican Conference, and I'm joined now by Dr. Paul Bloom. Dr. Bloom, let's talk a little bit about the soul. That's very appropriate, I guess, at a Vatican conference. Why do people believe in a soul?
It's a great question, and thank you, Dr. Gomez, for talking with me about this. I'm a psychologist, I'm not a philosopher, so I'm not so much interested in questioning whether there is a soul or how do you characterize it. But I'm interested in what people believe. And people do believe there's a soul independent from the body. Most people on earth think that when your body dies, your soul will persist. They are comfortable with stories where the soul could leave the body, where your body could be occupied by another soul. And I think the fact that these beliefs are so universal and so early emerging in young children suggests that this is part of our human nature to believe in souls. And I don't think it's a biological adaptation or something like that. What I think is that the mind has evolved a way of thinking about physical objects, material things, and a separate way of thinking about people, about beliefs and desires and goals and consciousness. And these two do not mesh. Science tells us that they're one and the same. The brain is the source of the mind, but this does not come natural to us.
Are they mutually exclusive?
In common sense, no, because I think everybody agrees that, if I bang my hand, a physical thing, it'll hurt. Everybody agrees that if I make a choice, I can move my body around. So there's some connection. I think people are probably sympathetic to the sort of view held by Rene Descartes, where the soul's in the immaterial realm, the body's here, and then there's some sort of conduit, some sort of connection that makes perception and action possible.
Interesting. Let's talk about religion since we're here at the Vatican. Is there a cognitive science around religion? How does that work?
There is indeed. It's relatively recent, the last few decades. Psychologists have been taking the same techniques and theories and insights that they use to explain social behavior and perception and action and extend it to religion. And I think one of the insights of religion is of the cognitive science of religion is that many of the core ideas that religions possess, like the distinction between bodies and souls, like the idea of divine creation, like the idea of karma, are actually emerged from fundamentally natural ways of thinking. So there's a lot about religion that's unnatural and needs to be learned and varies from culture to culture. But I think the insight of cognitive science is that a lot of religion just comes natural to us.
That sort of implies that it's hardwired biologically.
It does. It does. Again, I don't think it's an adaptation. I think it stems from other things. But I think to some extent we are hardwired to be religious. There's always some people around the world, including myself, who are sort of hardcore atheists. We won't buy any of it. But I think that is unnatural. It goes against our natural proclivities.
Interesting. Speaking of beliefs and morality and so forth, and whether we're hardwired, what about morality and empathy?
Yeah.
Are they related, and are they hardwired, or is that also learned?
Morality is my day job. I run a research lab, and we study morality in babies and children and adults. And the answer, is it learned or is it innate, is a complex combination of both. So on the one hand, even the youngest babies you can test seem to show some degree of compassion towards others, some capacity for moral judgment. They can see something as right and something as wrong. And so there's some universal moral core. On the other hand, a lot of what we see as morality, the wrongness of racism and sexism, the importance of being kind to faraway strangers, that does not come natural to us. That's the product of culture. And so we see this. I think in morality, we see a perfect case study of the interface between our biological natures and our culture and the cultural environments in which we live.
It kind of boils down again to the old argument of nature versus nurture, huh?
Yes, and as often with these arguments, the answer is both. Mm-hmm. I think some of this is surprising. I think there's a lot more nature in it for everything we're talking about, for morality, for religion, for dualism, than people would expect. But I wouldn't for a second deny the powerful role of culture.
So interesting. Dr. Paul Bloom, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really fascinating stuff. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.